So it's Wednesday, 8th of April 2020, and this is the Irish Unity podcast, and you're very welcome back. Thanks for coming back. We're still coming at you from this dreadful global pandemic that we're all experiencing. I want to address a really interesting phenomenon that's been developing over the past week. We spoke last week to Michael Kelly of the IRSP, who mentioned how the efforts that movement were putting into securing and delivering resources to the vulnerable in our areas. In another initiative sort of growing out of that there, we're seeing a real effort, successful effort being made on the ground by members of that organisation to procure, secure, assemble and distribute vital high-tech personal protection equipment to hospitals and other care institutions all around Ireland. Now, we've been hearing some nightmare stories from healthcare staff and healthcare professionals and care workers about how they've effectively been abandoned when it comes to protection from this dreadful virus. I spoke to two individuals today, one Dan Murphy in Belfast, an IRSP member in Belfast, and Martin McMonagle, the national chair of the IRSP. They explained to me the logistics of the operation that they're involved in. So with me on the line from Derry City is none other than Martin McMonagle. Martin's chairperson of the Irish Republican Socialist Party. He's also an active directing member of Teachna Fáilte. And Martin, you are central, I understand, to this Republican Socialist Aid for the NHS programme that we're seeing rolled out around the country. Can you give our listeners a bit of background information as to what's going on?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's just me. It's central. There's a lot of our comrades doing a lot of very hard work here in Derry and around the country. But just to let you know, what we're doing, but started off here, two comrades in Derry sourced, you're probably aware, face shields, which are badly needed in care homes and actually by frontline NHS workers. So,
if these are shields, these are like visors, like these, they're like strong plastic visors, yeah? Right.
Yeah, not masks, face shields. Very sought after by people in very short supply. So the two comrades in Derry here, Ted Curley and Paul Doyle, sourced them and done a lot of hard work getting them. And then there's a lot more comrades then got together because they came in packs. Yeah. We had to assemble them and expanded it.
So where all did you get them these delivered to, Martin?
There was Belfast, Derry, Strabane, Fermanagh, just off the top of my head, Dublin, Cork, Galway, Mayo,
to the front.
Cavan.
Wow. The frontline hospital staff. So you were able to get these visors out and delivered from
the frontline hospital staff, yes, and also to care homes who had no access, who as you know, are at the bottom of the pile when it comes to aid and that from the government. So from the both governments, so we have furnished them with them,
This is pretty amazing, because I saw the photos of, I think it was the print shop. I think it's the Republican Socialist print shop. It's usually used for merchandise and books and t-shirts and that and it's converted into a workshop to make essential personal protection equipment for the NHS, and
that's what we were doing. Yes, we converted that there, and we're sales members of the IRSP, Teachna Fáilte, and I have to give a big shout out to members of the Republican Socialist Youth Movement.
That's outstanding,
and have given up a lot of time, to do this as well.
And what has to be asked, and we can ask it on this podcast, where's the gutter press? Where's the Belfast Telegraph? Where's the Sunday Life with stories like this? They won't be shouting this from the rooftops,
No, they rather shout criminality, criminals and all this here, but this is the real work that Republican Socialists are doing, and we reach out, it's not just in Republican areas, we have give this equipment out, we've give it out across our community. Yeah. And but anything positive coming from revolutionaries or Republicans, true Republicans, will not get a good press.
No, well, we'll make sure it gets out here. Are you able to? Because I know this, and there's more photos coming out. I think Costello House, we saw photos this morning of the Republican Socialist Youth Movement. They're putting this stuff together there as well and getting it out. And we're even hearing some feedbacks from the hospitals now. People saying, saying that the gear was badly needed and. What's the logistics? Are you able to do this safely? Are you able to practice distancing and isolation and all that?
As you can see, we all wear masks and gloves and the plenty of hand sanitizers. We also, comrades and Fermanagh sourced a big big load of hand sanitizer and stuff like that. So we are trying our best to keep keep within the guidelines, the World Health Authority guidelines, and that,
And simultaneously to this, I believe that there's some of the comrades in Derry in the Republican Socialist movement are able to operate like a soup kitchen sort of food resource distribution channel as well.
Yeah, they're doing that in conjunction with other community groups, Culture, Gary Donnelly and that, Tony O'Hara and people like that. Former councillor, IRSP member Warren Robinson, that's instrumental. And he owns a small cafe here, him and his daughter, and they're actually doing a lot of the stuff, and then our comrades then are helping deliver it. So we're central to everything that's going on that level as well, on the community level,
Do you think you can keep it up, Martin? Will we be able to keep it up?
Well, hopefully. Listen, we're revolutionaries. We've been about a long time, and if we can do it, if we're able to do it, we'll do it.
No doubt. So you were driving all around Ireland yesterday delivering this stuff. You must be shattered. But
I'm exhausted today. But it's not about individuals or anything else. It's a collective effort by the whole movement. Every facet of the movement's been involved in this, so which is great to see.
Yeah. Well, listen, Martin, fair play to you, man, and I'm going to go over and talk to some of the comrades in Belfast now after you, and keep it up, but keep yourself safe, comrade.
All the best. Stay safe.
Good luck.
Stay
good man.
As much as possible, every one of us. Okay, thank you.
Will do, comrade. Bye. So with me on the line here is Dan Murphy from West Belfast IRSP. You're very welcome, Dan.
Okay,
Dan, I've just spoke to Martin McMonagle up in Derry, and we got a taste of this Republican Socialist Aid initiative that's being rolled out. Can you give me, and I understand that at the minute you're with comrades in Belfast and you're travelling to deliver visor PPE equipment up to a care home in Dunmurray. Yeah. Could you give me an idea of the logistics of what's going on so listeners can get a taste? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been contacted recently by a fair amount of frontline workers, specifically healthcare workers. People working in the likes of homes and that there.
Yeah.
They're not getting any support at all. There's literally they're struggling to get the basic PPE and let alone the likes of visors and that.
Yeah.
So we took a bit of a lead from our comrades in Derry. We've seen how successful it was for them up there, and the word of good at them. We've just spent the entire day putting together the visors, and we're now on our way up to Dunmurray just to deliver the first batch of 20.
So how does this work, Dan? You get the party gets the gear, gets the equipment, right? The plastic equipment, and then it's assembled. It's assembled at one of the centres, or one of the. I know in Derry that they converted the workshop. They converted the printworks into a workshop where you would usually be getting badges and T-shirts and books and that. And it's now like a wee workshop for NHS PPE equipment. What way are you doing it in Belfast?
Well, that's effectively, we've done something similar with our headquarters here, Castello House in the Falls Road. We'll have quite a few volunteers here, especially from the Republican Socialist Youth Movement.
Yep.
So what we've done, we've broken it down into different rooms. Obviously, we need to sort of follow the NHS guidelines on social distancing.
Yeah.
And at that, we went about secured the proper PPE for ourselves. We carried out the assembly was fairly straightforward. We ran a bit of a line between ourselves, so someone does the first part of it, which would be just getting the actual visor out and attaching the small sort of sponge to it.
Yeah.
Then it was passed on, and that was consistent. And it was, we got that all knocked out. We must have knocked out about 100 there.
Yeah.
Maybe in the space of about 2 or 3 hours.
That's amazing. Because I mean, like we're hearing, and I'm hearing nightmare stories from all the healthcare staff everywhere. They're just saying that nobody's even asking them. We're hearing stories of people getting pressurised into working without PPE equipment, and I don't know, what can I say. What sort of demand have you felt on the ground? Are you getting phone calls now?
We've been contacted even as soon as it was put on social media that we had the equipment there to basically assemble them. We were getting messages left, right and centre from especially from local people that are working on the front line of the health services.
Yeah.
It's an absolute disgrace. They're not being given the proper equipment to go out and do their job, and more dangerously than that, it's putting them at risk.
Yeah.
So we'll take a lead from our comrades in Derry, and again the response from especially Robert, as we're going up here to Dunmurray, we're not long off the phone.
Yeah.
There's a girl up here, and she is over the moon about it. And it's not a major donation. This is only 20 face visors,
yeah.
but beyond thankful for it. And I think that sort of it shows how much in need they are of this equipment.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to be busy, man. I have a feeling you're going to be very busy.
Well, we hope so. We're hoping to sort of continue this on. Ideally, if we're looking to set up a support group, we're hoping to get at least 9 to 10 boxes of these in every week, and continue as best we can support them.
How many visors are in the box, Dan?
It works out. We have 20 in each individual box, and the usual order would be around 9 boxes. Yeah. So there, you're talking in the guts of maybe about 250 visors.
Yeah. And it's not just visors, and it's I saw in the photos basic face masks and gloves.
Yes.
Distributed as well.
We have the hand reduced, especially some comrades in movement moving out of the way to actually procure those stuff for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't need much of them, so we take just the stuff so we can get this assembled. The rest of that are being donated as well.
Well, I don't know what to say, Dan. Let's bring it around to a political point, Dan. Here we have Republican Socialists, yourselves and comrades from other organisations and parties who've been on the podcast ahead of the state. Yeah. Jumping ahead of the state, leaps and bounds ahead of the state when it comes to protecting our brilliant NHS staff. Do you think, as an activist yourself, do you think that we could potentially be seeing something stirring amongst the working class due to this crisis, something that political change might come out of when it's over?
Oh, absolutely. So I think one of the biggest aspects here is that we were able to procure those the stuff to put these visors together very, very quickly and relatively easy.
Yeah.
Again, we haven't got much resource to put on it, but we'll do what we can. But it does go to show, if we can do this here, there's no reason that the government can't nationalise certain key industries here and put this together. I would hope that the NHS staff and frontline health workers do take a look at this here and see how undervalued our government, or how much our government undervalues them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the IRSP aren't looking at the world through a profit-driven lens. The IRSP obviously could see that these people are valued and they're needed and they need to be protected.
Well, that's precisely it. I mean, we're witness here. These are the inherent contradictions of capitalism laying themselves bare for the working class to see.
Yeah.
We're watching here. They're sending nurses in to deal with jobs that they physically can't carry out without putting themselves at risk, despite the fact that there are still industries that are making the PPE, and we've got our politicians effectively going and begging these people for it. It's disgraceful. Frankly, we shouldn't be asking for anything for those that are going out of the way to save our lives. Yeah.
Well, Dan, listen, fair play to you, Dan. Stay safe, man. On the roads and all the rest, and I'll talk to you soon. Alright, buddy.
Not a problem.
Slán. Gurmaí,